And we are live. All right. Thank you, everyone, for joining today. Sorry about getting a few minutes late. Going to give a couple more minutes for everyone to get situated and join. Looks like we have about 12 people have joined that are sitting so far. Get a few more minutes. Cool. All right. Okay, so we'll go ahead and get started. Hello, everyone. My name is Richard Malloy. I am the VP of Sales here at PSPDFKit. We do these regular scheduled webinars to give customers and potential customers and clients a chance to kind of have more of an open dialogue and see a more general overview of kind of our technology, as well kind of interface with us with some real-time questions. Today, I am joined by one of our front-end web engineers, Guillermo, who's going to be in the background. He'll be able to answer any questions or provide any kind of technical support while we go through the call if there's questions or comments or things like that. And then we'll take some time at the end to kind of circle back if there's anything we haven't discussed. The benefit is if you signed up today, you will get a recording of this so you can circle back and kind of touch on any kind of features we looked at or anything like that. So this will be accessible via email once we get done with this. Please excuse the hazard tape in the background. It's a Halloween decoration. I will be safe throughout this webinar. But we'll go ahead and get started. I'll go ahead and share my screen. So in terms of, let's see, let me pull this out. Give it a second to catch up. All right, wonderful. Cool. So everyone should be able to see my screen. Okay, and I'll format the size. So, all right, a quick introduction about PSPDFKit and kind of our portfolio of different kind of solutions and technologies. PSPDFKit has been in the space providing PDF support for, mobile web, server applications for over a decade now. As you can kind of see, we work with a number of different industries ranging from construction, e-signatures, cloud storage providers, as well as enterprises and kind of aviation. Since PDF came into the document spec in the 90s, it's kind of separated itself as something that can be trusted as a reliable document format that can be used across a number of platforms. Today, what I really want to do is focus on a couple of different solutions that we offer. Given that PDF viewing and manipulation can be found on a number of different devices, we offer a whole suite of products. Today, we're going to focus mostly on our web framework that provides kind of rendering and manipulation tools directly in the browser itself. So kind of jumping into the demo already, this is our web framework. What I've done is I've rendered an image and converted it to a PDF. It's an image of our feature page. So you see this nice sidebar here on the left. That's a custom sidebar we put together, but we are using PSPDFKit to kind of run this webinar today, which makes it exciting. So a bit more about the framework to kind of put context of what we'll discuss today. As we kind of mentioned, we offer a number of different integrations for PDF viewing, manipulation support, whether it be done through a UI perspective, but also through a programmatic workflow as well. Probably what we see most popular now is the ability to add PDF support in web applications, but have a rich history of being deployed in mobile applications on iOS and Android. We can also check the box for you and your customers if they have requirements around, Windows, Mac Catalyst, emerging technologies like Flutter and React Native, as well as like Electron and SharePoint, things like that. So yeah, the reason why we touch web today is, one, because it becomes one of our feature-rich products, but also there's a number of devices that can support a web browser now. So we see a lot of customers come to us first with an interest in adding web support because it's a way to reach the most people. So what you'll see on the right here under kind of PSPDF for web is our feature list. So what separates PSPDFKit from a lot of different vendors in the space and kind of our competitors is we have modularized and feature flagged our SDK. What that essentially means is we understand that all use cases don't need OCR capabilities or the ability to annotate in real time. So we provide you kind of a feature flag model that follows the PDF spec to an extent that allows you to build your use case as you need it. So, the first building block we have is our PDF viewer. PSPDFKit took a strategic decision several years ago to build our core rendering off PDFium, which is the open source rendering engine from Google. This provides a number of benefits since we forked off of it, as the ability to build off this product suite, but also it provides, a level of security as it's being backed by Google. It's constantly being evaluated for security threats, as well as it sees a ton of different types of variants of PDFs in the browser, as well as like through end user applications. So with our journey of using PDFium for close to a decade now, we've been able to kind of contribute back to the spec, as well as like improve it as well in terms of like its performance. And that's really benefited us. We definitely consider ourselves one of the more feature-rich solutions. So if we're looking just at the viewer, the viewer functionality and kind of the ability to kind of manipulate through a document while you have it in the browser, most people are going to see, when you open a document in a web browser, it's just going to come up in a web view. You can't do much with it. With PSPDFKit, we do a couple of things. We expose, a thumbnail view of the PDF to be able to easily kind of navigate through the different documents, as well as certain things such as bookmarks, an outline of the PDF that it already exists. We do extensive QA on, our technology to make sure that, if an outline was created in Adobe or another reader, that when our SDK is able to render it, we also are able to follow that as well. So, we're able to do quite a bit here in terms of navigation between the different documents. In addition to that, we can track any type of annotations or changes to the PDF that you can export and do what you like. Zooming, super important with a lot of different use cases. I'm sure you saw the construction clients on the front page. Being able to take in complex drawings and zoom to a high degree is very important. Being able to come back and fit the page. We also expose kind of a search engine that allows you to search within the PDF, as well as like a default here would be to be able to download it, but you can certainly customize that. So in terms of the viewer, one of the things that, makes us special is that we feel like, when you look at a lot of different use cases for our framework, is that you're seeing it used in different industries. And so there's different requirements. So, being able to switch between dark and light mode is super important to like aviation clients, because when you're, flying in a cockpit, you need to view a PDF. Being able to switch to night mode is quite important. Cool. So addition to that, we've also extended to be able to, support other documents as well as Office files. So being able to upload an Office document, convert it to a PDF, images as well, converting those to PDF and being able to do it. So, we have a lot of abilities here in being able to take our technology, plug and play, or plug it into your application, and then from there be able to customize it. So, if we look at this magazine use case, we can see that the UI is no longer at the top. We've moved it to the bottom. and we've done a number of things in terms of like making it more specific to like how someone might want to like consume like a publication or something like that. So being able to highlight mostly, but nothing, against that double page view, so you can view the magazine itself, and then bookmarking things as well. So a lot of capabilities here. We expose a ton of stuff in our documentation to be able to, customize the toolbar and really put things into place to walk you through step by step how to do this, so that it's very easy. So some examples about that with the toolbar customization, you can see, it can be easy as just, unclicking certain buttons depending on how you expose it. And we can really break down the UI to be and really only support what we want to. Here's some questions coming in. I'm sure Guillermo's got us covered there, as well as theming, things like that. You can see sidebar customization. So, considering the number of use cases that we see, we do want to provide as many, API hooks and customization guides that allow you to kind of build the workflow that you need to support. And since we are kind of a global entity, we want to be able to support, as many languages we can, most Latin-based languages, but, having customers all over the world, we do get requests to be able to support different languages. So we often adhere to those and do what we can. So cool. And back to our main page. That was our viewer. So yeah, the next stop, if we follow kind of the PDF spec, would be annotations. The first thing we need to be able to do is be able to view a document. After that, we want to enable some manipulation tools. So when we come back to our demo here, we've got a number of annotations. I think if we look back here, it shows that we have 17 different type of annotations. So, quickly adapting to different things, simple annotations such as just ink drawing and then being able to open an inspector. Our PSPDFKit inspector allows you to do a number of things with the annotations, change the color, backfill, opacity, things like that. You can really have quite a bit of flexibility on how you want this to work. We also do free flow highlighting. You can see some annotations that are here. We also are able to do text highlighting if the text is selectable, you can highlight it, and then we give you a pop-over menu about how to edit the PDF as well in terms of highlighting, strike through, underline, and things like that. Adding images and stamps. We do predefined stamps as well, so you can drop stamps. You can also upload your own custom stamps as well if you wanted to do that. We have clients that upload certain things that are industry specific for them, as well as adding free text to the PDF. So as I'm doing all of these things to the PDF, I'm essentially adding a text annotation as an additional layer to the PDF. And then when I export it or send it, email it, download it, print it, I guess print it wouldn't be applicable, but if I'm going to send it in a digital format, I have the ability of whether I'm going to flatten or burn or embed these annotations into the PDF, or if I'm going to allow them to remain editable for my workflow. So can make a note to flatten these before exporting. Okay, and then we can print it off. Cool. Fair enough. I'll pause for questions real quick to make sure we're doing all right. Guillermo, looks like you've got us covered, so we'll keep moving on. Cool. Undo, redo, in case you need to back up your work, clean things up a bit. But in terms of annotations, we have quite a big suite here on different things you can do. Which, yeah, if there's anything we can ever add to, please let us know. Yeah. Awesome. Cool there. There we go. Okay, moving from that, the next stop looking on is kind of forms. So PDF Acro forms kind of entered the spec as, a way of collecting and organizing information on a PDF. It's one of the most common use cases for people to use PDFs in terms of being able to fill out PDF forms. what a PDF form essentially does is it binds information to a certain part of the PDF. And so what that does is it allows you to do things such as programmatically fill the document preemptively before you come in, as well as um, take the information that's put in the form and export it. So text boxes, check boxes, radio buttons, these are all fully supported in terms of the adhering to the PDF spec. We recognize signature boxes as well, which we'll talk about in a minute, as well as the time and date boxes and formatting. So, one of the nice things about PSPDFKit is that, you're able to expose the APIs that we provide with our documentation, hook this into your database, and then as you render forms, you can pre-render certain information like first name, last name, so that some of that work is already pre-filled. You don't have to do it over and over again, and you can map those. And kind of more excitingly, within the last couple months, we've taken this even further. And if you didn't like the form you were working with, you're now able to edit PDF forms. So, you look at different use cases such as like creating templates, moving signature boxes around, being able to format, the fill color and things like that, but really do the formatting and also the mapping for the forms has become super valuable in today's kind of workflow. You might have a template that you have people fill out by hand over and over again. Or, you might have a contract that you need signed. You can use PSPDFKit now to bring in and add signature boxes, designate who's going to be the owner of that signature box. And then you can replace kind of other signature, third-party providers you have with an SDK. The benefit is, using an SDK versus a third-party tool for like signatures is you also get all the benefits of having an editor as well. So, you get the added benefit of being able to annotate the document while being able to like also edit the forms and stuff and things like that. So really excited about the form creator. It's been something that we've seen really take off in terms of use. A lot of people are using this to kind of build out different templates, build out, contracts, things like that, add signature fields, export them and things like that, all within your application without having to do anything. And then you can turn it off. So a couple things to kind of mention about this is like anything that we're doing here, you can also do programmatically through our APIs. So, seeing that I've done all this through a UI perspective, I could also programmatically tell PSPDFKit to add a signature box to the PDF in the same place over here. I do see some pricing questions. Yeah, definitely can get to those towards the end with some awesome evaluation information as well. So we kind of hinted at it a bit in terms of like where forms can kind of go. So signatures. So, with, the pandemic, pre-pandemic, we see a lot of kind of digital and virtual meeting rooms that, required signatures and, being able to process PDFs in electronic format. With the pandemic, a lot of like regulations and laws have made it easier and easier to kind of provide a digital format to sign PDFs. So, what we are able to do is like if there is a PDF form that's designated as a signature box, we're able to, and then I can basically sign here. So using the three different things, I can, draw, I can add an image of my signature. I can also type them. So I can type the signature and add that to the PDF itself. So from there, this is an electronic signature that can be embedded. We also have a signature UI tool that you can, fit to the PDF as well, and then drag and drop to where you need it if you needed a second signature. For a second level of validation, adding a digital certificate we're able to add that to the document. And what that does is it allows you to basically add the signature box and then resize it and do it here, all through kind of an API standpoint. So if we want to look at digital signatures, we would sign the document, we apply the certificate. And so what our SDK can do is, again, with thinking of different readers and different tools that use digital certificates in the market, PSPDFKit can recognize that certificate, and we'll go ahead and display the banner that it's been digitally signed and all the signatures are valid, whether it was done with our kit or somebody else's. On the other side, if the document is then manipulated, so let's just say we'll add an annotation here, our framework immediately will display that it's been signed, but the document's been modified since then. So one of the huge benefits of implementing a digital signature workflow is that you're able to kind of confirm the legitimacy of documents on who both the signer is and whether the document's been manipulated since signatures have happened. So yeah, a bit about signatures. There's quite a bit there. This is a huge use case that we're seeing growing on our side in terms of people wanting to take digital signing to kind of an internal tooling perspective, maybe replace a vendor or something like that. So we use that quite a bit. So I'm going to get back and upload another document so I can get my feature page back. So we will go ahead and render that quickly, and we can come in here and kind of recap what we've went over. So, yep. So wonderful. Yeah, a couple more things to look at before we kind of get into the chat and kind of address some of the questions that are there as well on licensing, pricing, evaluation, things like that. PSPDFKit tries to be as much as we can supporter of all document types. We do have engines to be able to migrate, image documents and often files to PDF, and some APIs to even go back to the file types that you have the ability to work across multiple document formats. The two of the three last things I want to cover is our document editor on redaction tool. So, redacting, personal, PII, things like that, makes a big space in a lot of different industries that we work across of. A lot of vendors that we know do provide some sort of redaction where they support putting a rectangular box over a PDF and then flattening it. So, what they would do, they'll flatten this, they'll open the document, it'll appear that something's been redacted, but if you select the text underneath it, or even if you search with it, you're able to actually still extract the text about it. So what PSPDFKit does, we actually are able to permanently redact text. So what we do is we take the image and the underlying metadata. So we'll put an overlay. Say Richard was running a webinar today. We'll go to pink. We'll apply the redaction. So we'll apply that redaction. We'll open it again in the same viewer. So one here, this is a text annotation that someone, or an annotation that someone's put over. The text is still selectable. I can still search with it. When we open it up in PSPDFKit, now that we've applied the redaction, the only thing I can select is my webinar text that I've applied over it. So we have basically removed the metadata from the PDF to make it permanently irreversible. So you're able to redact sensitive information. And we do that through a couple different tools. You're able to do it through a search engine. So if you wanted to search for all, credit cards and mark them for redaction, you could do that as well. So there's a lot of different flexibility there. We also have an area redaction tool. So I can basically just redact an entire area and apply the redaction as well. So, yep. Let's see. One more thing that we wanted to cover was the document editor. So, we're running at 26 minutes, so we're a little less than 20 minutes left in the webinar. And I always want to leave time for questions. Our document editor, which is a common tool that a lot of people leverage Adobe Desktop for. What this allows you to do is add pages, merge documents, things like that, all within your web application. So think about you would have to move out of your application, merge the documents and bring them back into your application using PSPDFKit, you can all do this within your kind of standalone instance. So being able to do document manipulation, have the ability to save or overwrite something like that. That is something we fully support. So you can see the new document we've created here, and then you can see if we've overridden that. So cool. All right, let's see, Guillermo, we're moving through stuff. Wonderful, wonderful. Okay, cool. One last little feature to run through, and then can give some generic information about pricing and licensing and things like that. So several years ago, we looked at the PDF kind of workflow and wanted to bring something to it that would kind of modernize it based on what we've seen, how people are in a more collaborative and digital workspace. People are not always in the same location. Multiple people need access to the same document. So what we've done is we've built basically a collaborative workflow that allows you to basically work with multiple authors on the same document in real time. So what I'm showing is basically two different instances of PSPDFKit. So even if I copy this URL and come out here, if I annotate on this, what it's doing is it's sending the changes back to the server so that everyone who has access to it gets those changes in real time. You can see it even more up close here. If I annotate this, you see the changes persist in real time. So, we try to, come up with something that would help with things like conflict resolution, versioning control, things like that. So there's a couple awesome things about it, like, it supports threaded commenting. So you're able to have a sidebar discussion on a PDF, which is great. So then I'm able to put this and then, respond to it at people like that. So at Guillermo, thanks for the help today. And that allows me to have more of a kind of intuitive way to deal with documents. So it's a great question. So everything that we've shown today is self-hosted. So essentially you would take this technology and host it on-premise or on-premise for your customers or something like that. So, this real-time collaboration would be syncing back to your servers. You would just be hosting our technology. Furthermore, we enable basically a sandbox environment that nothing pings back to us, so that if you have HIPAA concerns, compliance concerns, security concerns, we're able to kind of give you a fully contained environment like that. So yeah, it's super powerful. We've seen a lot of great things. We see it from the collaboration standpoint of like multiple people working on the same document. We've also seen it from an individual standpoint of someone who needs to go from their desktop to their mobile phone, back to their iPad, or maybe they're in an area where there's not service. But anytime that connection comes back online, it immediately syncs all that information to anyone who has access to the document. And then we just follow kind of the last edit wins in terms of conflict resolution. And kind of furthermore, if you wanted to see kind of like something else that it's possible to do, if you did have multiple people collaborating on the same document, but you wanted to make some of your annotations public or private, what we've done is we've enabled the ability to turn things public and private. So as you see in the sidebar, I can select the users that can actually see this. So I'm able to see the different views of who I've exposed that annotation to, whether I keep them private. So maybe you're sitting in a board meeting and you're taking some personal notes, but then you want some annotations to be public. This is a really good way to accomplish that, where you have fine-grained permissions even to the annotation type. You can also do it on the document level as well that we provide. So cool. So that's PSPDFKit Instant. A couple final things, just relative to kind of evaluation. So I see some people have contacted our sales team and have filled out this wonderful form. We appreciate you kind of giving us some information. Part of our discovery process as a sales team and engineering team is we offer a number of different SDKs for a lot of different deployment options. Um, After we get an idea of kind of those deployment options, what we'll be talking to you a lot about is this feature list. Since this is modular, we want to figure out what features you need. So you're only, licensing and deploying the technology that you want, and that you're not spending a ton of time disabling things. But on the back end side, like, it's very easy to come back and say we want more functionality when we need it. So it allows you to scale very well. So pricing, we do license this predominantly as a subscription service. So that includes access to the technology, access to updates. We update our framework probably every 3 weeks, every 2 to 3 weeks, with a minor release, probably a major update every quarter. As well as support from our engineering team. Guillermo's one of them, as well as solutions engineers, our sales staff. We're reachable in a number of different ways so that you can kind of come in and talk to us about these different feature sets. So our ultimate goal in terms of pricing is to find something that works for you, but is still reflective of kind of the value our product provides in the most transparent way. Like, less features usually means there's less value. We're providing you more features, more value, and so we try to find a happy medium there. We can do a tailored quote for you if you'd want, if you're kind of pre-launch or something like that very early on. So we have a lot of flexibility there, in terms of how the subscription model can be based for you. So yeah, the sales form is definitely something we can do here. So we can do that. You can also schedule a call directly with one of our reps or access our technical support. Aside from that, we do offer a free trial as well. So the free trial, if you were going to spin up our web framework, it would allow you to evaluate every single feature that we have. So we would choose our web framework. We have a number of front ends and examples that we could support. So if you wanted to do Angular, that would be great. You're starting a new product, and then we can give you a step-by-step kind of process of integrating this. Once you're up and running, the PDF will be watermarked, but it'll allow you to evaluate our SDK fully. When you move into production, essentially we remove that watermark, but also just kind of feature flag what you've done based on your custom product. Samuel, say we use viewing forms, annotation, documents, standalone web as much as possible. What would be the price range? I don't need camera point. Yeah, Samuel, let me. I'll grab your email from this, and we can definitely. I can check to see what type of pricing we can offer you for sure, in terms of a ballpark, so that you've got a good idea of what kind of what our technology cost would be. So you can decide if you want to continue with the evaluation. A couple other handy things that we have on the website that are helpful to kind of during your, definitely have your email for registering. I certainly appreciate it. In terms of other helpful things, we work with some solutions and industries more than others. So like, if you happen to be in the construction industry, I think I saw some of our existing clients on here today that, use us in the construction space. You can kind of see some references of other teams that use us in that space, as well as like different use cases, and then we make a recommendation at the bottom, which is quite nice, of the different components we think would be good for your use case. So you can try those out. You can even go to the guides and the technical things, and even watch some short videos on like our ability to support, being able to measure the distance between 2 points on a PDF, which is a new feature we've released, that we understand is really helpful. So we're able to take the existing scale that's on the PDF, map that, and then use that reference point as the parameter to go ahead and map the rest of the document as well, which is quite intuitive. This is something we've recently released on our mobile apps, as well as our web SDK in the coming, I think, week, to be honest. So you can see that deployed here. I could circle back here and maybe look at our document comparison tool, which allows you to overlay construction drawings to be able to see the differences between the two, to see if there's been any changes since they've been there, and we'll highlight those in a different color. So the solution pages are quite handy in terms of like guiding you on some possibilities. Most of our sales staff and our engineering staff has seen a lot of different use cases, so we try to be consultants as much as we can and kind of helping you guide yourself through the process. So wonderful. All right, back to the home page. Any technical questions that you have, we expose our full documentation. Nothing is gatekeeped. You can get into kind of like today, we looked over a standalone, so you'd be able to open up our APIs and kind of see what's accessible there. Obviously, we have a ton of experts on the team in terms of not only the PDF spec, but PSPDFKit. So if you need resources on what API you need, please don't hesitate to reach out. We also give the ability to go into our documentation to launch the demo, as well as like get into nitty gritty stuff as like, being able to customize, the UI and something like that. So we have a search bar if I wanted to customize the UI, so I can customize the page indicator, and we can walk you through code snippets there as well as kind of go through any differences of there. So wonderful. All right, I will look through the chat to see if there's anything else. A lot to unpack here. Today we really just covered the web SDK. We also offer, something for mobile as well that's a little more tailored to the UI and the UX that, customers are used to experiencing. We also do server-side tools as well that can help with like batch process and automation. So super, super happy to kind of see people evaluate that if you have any processes that you need to automate. Test the trial cool. I'll follow up on that as well to see what's the status of that. I appreciate you telling us that. Make a quick note, put Samuel in there, put that, and I can follow up with the team after this webinar and see what were the status for that. So, appreciate everyone's time. I am going to drop my email in the chat. You can also email us at sales@PSPDFKit. There's a bunch of people behind that. We also have a dedicated support link if you want to submit a ticket. So any questions ever, you can definitely email me directly. I can get you connected with the right people or help out. So certainly appreciate everyone joining today. Can give everybody a few minutes back, but yeah, look forward to speaking to everyone in the future. Guillermo, thanks again for all the help fielding questions, and yeah, we hope to see everyone soon.